should you handle a First Amendment auditor using a poll to look into secure parking lots? All right, guys, my name is Anthony Bandiero, attorney and senior legal instructor for Blue to Gold Law Enforcement Training, bringing the Roadside Chat. All right, this question comes from an officer, I believe in California, but we had a First Amendment auditor training and so forth, and we're talking about, right to be, right to see. One of our guys asked about a First Amendment auditor filming into a fenced parking lot, specifically using a telescoping tool to look over, a solid fence, wall, and so forth, to look into, cars, the equipment, maybe your own personal vehicle and so forth, right? And so we know that it may not be intruding onto an area of a reasonable protection of privacy because it's a parking lot, right? It's not like they're looking at NCIC data and so forth. What do you think, right? The officer's like, what, any feedback about this? I certainly have some feedback, and the feedback is this, is that it's clear to me that that First Amendment auditor is trying to bait police. See, First Amendment auditors really want three things, right? They want money, they want your badge, and they want fame, right? So, and I'm not, just so you know, I don't disagree with the concept of a First Amendment auditor. I like all my amendments. I like Second Amendment auditors, I like First Amendment, I don't necessarily appreciate some of the tactics that they do, and maybe sometimes their intentions, but the idea that a person can walk around and be free from detention because they're exercising an established right is no problem for me, right? So I think you would agree with that as well. So, but a lot of these First Amendment auditors are looking for those three things. So the best way to handle a First Amendment auditor is to, number one, recognize when they are engaged in a First Amendment activity, right? The First Amendment gives people the right to gather information. It's not just for Channel 5 News. It's not just for Fox and CNN. It's also for the person who wants to gather information about their government, right? They are allowed to do that. So the other thing is, I get a lot of cops, maybe not so much today as it was maybe a few years ago, but I got a lot of cops who like, but Anthony, that's a security issue. Them looking at my car, them seeing my plate, that can present a security issue for me personally. And I say, look, if you really genuinely have that kind of concern for your safety, where you believe that, a person knowing what kind of car you drive is going to cause you personal physical harm, then A, look into what the rules are for a restraining order, because you may have some facts there that this particular person means you harm. Or B, talk to your city council about putting up a secure facility, maybe a parking garage that's restricted access. Or C, take an Uber, right? But the one thing that we can't do is, simply because we don't want people to have what kind of car we drive, we can't violate their First Amendment rights. We have to do something else first. And finally, when it comes to this telescoping pole issue, right? There is no law that I can think of that I would be able to enforce when I was a cop against that, right? It's not trespassing. They are not physically trespassing into the area, right? They have this pole that they can buy off Amazon, and they're looking into the parking lot. And there is no legit security issue, right? Maybe if SWAT was back there and SWAT had up the whiteboard about how they're going to, execute a high risk search warrant, and that person was taking pictures of that map, and SWAT could not just alleviate the issue by turning it around and going something like that, right? Then maybe that's a legitimate, restriction on somebody's First Amendment activities, right? But you would need something compelling like that. But at the end of the day, you know where this is going. Leave these people alone, right? Don't give them fame. Don't give them your badge. Do not give them money. You know what game they're playing. Let them play it. They're allowed to play it, but let them play it by themselves, right? Don't engage them unless you have something significant going on, compelling, right? You know it. I know it, right? Use common sense out there. Don't be played by these guys. Let them do what they're going to do. All right. Hopefully you agree with me. If you don't, fine. Put why you don't agree with me in the comments below, Or if you have another spin on this, you're like, but Anthony, would you think about this issue or that issue? Please put in the comments below or ask me a brand new question at bluetogold.com/show. And until next time, my friends, stay safe. And I hope I helped you get it right every single time.